Hello, Magic V Steam family. Today we are talking IUDs, and a question that I get quite often is, can a woman steam with an IUD? Now, if you're already a Magic V Steam spa owner, you know that in our frequently asked questions on our website and also in the directions that come with your steamer, we do not recommend that women steam with an IUD for more reasons than one. So the first reason is the simplest one. When we're steaming to cleanse our womb. We are trying to evacuate any excess mucus, any excess matter, blood, menses, endometrium that doesn't need to be in there anymore. So our body cannot tell the difference between all of those things and an IUD. All our body knows is that the herbs are activating it to contract the uterus and push excess matter out. It cannot make the determination between what the matter actually is. That's why vaginal steaming is such a strong and magical modality, because it activates your body to do what it already naturally does. The cramping that you feel is the same cramping evacuation that we would have during a bad period or even childbirth. You could potentially evacuate your IUD during that process. And we know that that's something that you don't want, and it's something that we definitely don't want to cause for you as a customer. The second reason is the one that I usually talk about the most, because I think that it's the one that's probably more likely to happen. And it's a really long explanation, but I'm going to try to make it as succinct as possible. When you have an IUD, your IUD is in your uterus, and the strings go through your cervix and hang into your vagina. There is one microbiome in your womb, and there is another microbiome in your vagina. Now, because you have the IUD, there is the potential for cross-contamination between the bacteria that are in your womb and the bacteria that are in your vagina. Now, if we have some cross-contamination, we can throw things off, which is exactly what we're trying to prevent with a good steaming practice. Just by having an IUD in place, you already have that potential for the cross-contamination to happen. So steaming just exacerbates that potential, because now while you're steaming, what you have is whatever toxins, bacteria, anything that's being released from your womb is now passing through your cervix, passing through those strings and into your vagina. Normally, there would be nothing inside of your vagina for any of that bacteria to adhere to, but it could adhere to those strings for an extended period of time, and then again throw off the microbiome in your vagina, because the microbiome in your uterus is different from the one in your vagina. Now, will it necessarily cause an infection? No, it may not. But do we even want to take that chance? I don't want to take that chance with your wellness, because I wouldn't take it with mine. And the asterisk to that is, if your pH did get thrown off or you did get an infection, what would you think? If you don't know all these mechanics that I just explained, you would literally think, oh, I steamed and it threw my pH off. I steamed and it gave me an infection. So to circumvent all of that, we just do not recommend that women with an IUD steam. So at the end of all of that, there is a huge caveat. If I work with women in person with a one-on-one steam session and they have an IUD, I can steam them. And so can any other well-trained vaginal steam facilitator. And that is why the answer to this question will always be different depending on who you're talking to. Some trained vaginal steam facilitators are just vaginal steam facilitators. They're not birth workers, they're not womb healers. They don't have an extended knowledge of anatomy and physiology. So they don't know all the bones behind why we do the things we do or why we don't do the things we don't. So it's always helpful when you have someone who sells products but also is knowledgeable of the science and the anthropological standings or circumstances behind a modality. When you have someone who's a womb healer, they can support you in a different way than someone who's just selling products or took a class and got a certification. So in closing, what I'll say is I do not subscribe to the gatekeeping that I'm seeing a lot in the vaginal steaming, yoni steaming community. When you come from a steaming culture, this knowledge is available to every woman. The knowledge to heal herself, care for herself, her daughters, her sisters, her friends. It's available to everyone in the community. And that's why I call this a sisterhood. With that being said, when we know better, we do better. And the more we know, the more we grow in knowledge, health, and in sisterhood. So until the next time, I'm wishing you wellness and happy steaming.